Hi everyone, I'm Mike.
I'm Asher.
We're news editors at the Maroon, and here's a rundown of today's top stories. So one of the big things that's been talked about in Chicago outlets is the closing of the University of Chicago's Women's Clinic on 47th Street. The clinic provides OBGYN services, both basic and more extreme for high-risk pregnancies for Southside residents. The university said that it's part of their restructuring plan where they're trying to focus their energies on their more essential health care. You know, this comes after the ER restructuring plan, which many have said is going to disadvantage the low economic blacks on the South Side.
Mike, did we get a comment from the director on that?
Yeah, the director actually, and obviously he's a little self-interested here about his own job, but he said that he was decrying the close, saying that it's really going to have a bad impact on the low class, and that it's not quite prejudicial, but it's going to have a larger effect on those that have Medicare and so can't afford other services. The university did say that 10% of the patients, those high-risk patients, will be able to be seen at the DCAM half a day a week on Fridays, but the other 90% are sort of on their own to find other health care.
That's too bad. Also in tomorrow's paper, I'll be doing a story on St. Stephen's Church. You may know it as the decrepit-looking building on 57th and Blackstone near Salonika. And I myself have always wanted to know what's going on with that building, why it hasn't been developed, why it never looks like there will be anything developed, and why people apparently keep breaking inside. Well, I found out today, talking to someone who's in charge of a neighborhood group that is helping the developer deal with some of the problems, or has been helping. And I'm not going to give away too much, but the story will involve acclaimed Professor J.Z. Smith, who plays a central role. And it's really interesting. This building, built in 1917, modeled apparently after the Christian Science, the Church of Christ Scientists building in Boston.
Wow.
It's really big, it's impressive, right down like Boston Common.
And J.Z. Smith, next door neighbor.
J.Z. Smith is the next door neighbor to this building and
plays quite a role.
Plays quite a role.
Also in today's paper, we have an interview with David Sanger, who's coming this weekend for the Progressive Gala.
David Sanger is the White House correspondent for the New York Times.
He's won a whole bunch of Pulitzers, namely part of a team that chronicled the Challenger disaster. But he recently wrote a book about the legacy of the Bush administration, sort of the inheritance that Obama's had with that. And that's part of what the Progressive Gala this year is talking about, sort of how to move forward past the Bush years, and he's going to be the keynote speaker. And Nathalie Gorman, one of our reporters, spoke with him this week to sort of get a feel for what his book's about and what he's going to be talking about here.
Michael Lipkin, would you say that David Sanger is one of the New York Times star reporters?
I would.
Would you say that Nathalie Gorman is one of the Maroon star reporters?
I probably would, although probably less a star in our context than David Sanger is in his.
I beg to differ. But for more on that and more on tomorrow's stories, you'll have to check the Maroon out online at www.chicagomaroon.com or in print, wherever you can find it.
I'm Mike.
I'm Asher.
Thanks for watching.